Good morning, Halo fans. Welcome to HCS Major in Charlotte, hosted by FaZe Clan. Dan Gaskin alongside Richard Sheridan, aka Shirty1, and we are underway here. It's Envy versus Unreal Nightmare to kick us off. Of course, we are amidst pool play. Shirzy, Envy versus Unreal Nightmare. Any preferences here? Any expectations?
I think the expectations are going to be that Envy will come out victorious. There's high hopes. This team will break into that top four eventually. They've been knocking the door for quite some time. A lot of these predictions are putting them there or thereabouts. For Unreal Nightmare, it's about trying to cause an upset because this team have gotten into pool play time and time again, but have yet to really leave their mark.
Well, I will say it's a good series layout for Unreal Nightmare. Scrims against Envy, 2 of these 5 they were able to actually beat them on. So it was about a month ago. There's been a lot of time for practice, but I'd certainly say that it bodes well when you look at game times you've actually been able to beat Envy on. So Unreal Nightmare, I wouldn't say they're out of this one, and of course Slayers, who knows, people don't really practice them as much, but this was one of them. So recharge King of the Hill, maybe this is how Unreal Nightmare can get a foot over Envy, but Envy have been performing very well as of late, but it's Unreal Nightmare who get the first.
Opening point to Unreal Nightmare then, and Envy on the back foot almost from the get-go. Great start from the lower seeded team. Again, expectations are going to be that Envy are going to have a very decent showing in this tournament. Of course, lots up for grab in this tournament. Then, world qualification also on the line for any team that can perform well. So, that is the target for a lot of these teams. Can you make it to Seattle?
It's where everyone wants to go, it's where everyone wants to be. Me too. Still my target. You never know. You never know what could happen. Anyway, Unreal Nightmare with a 1-0 lead here now just have to make sure they don't find themselves letting this one slip through their fingers a little bit. There's always possibility for a slow start in these tournaments. I mean, we've seen it happen time and time again, so Envy shouldn't be too worried about going 1-0 down, but Unreal Nightmare pushing well together at the moment, I will say. They're not allowing anyone to escape as a solo, and Envore is one of those players that if you're going up against him and he's starting to win some gunfights, he's going to get loud.
Very impressed right now by the team cohesion and the chemistry with Unreal Nightmare. Working very well together. And we're starting to see some points on the board because of that. All 4 dead now though, as I say, that almost jinxed them. And camouflage for Descendant, so now an opportunity for Envy to start to grow into this game. Maybe put some dominance on the board themselves, maybe get themselves right back into this one.
Nice shots as well from Descendant, but again, just not allowed to escape is the single one. Both teams really struggling to get control of this hill at the moment. We know how difficult it can be, but again, good shots from Yakzn.
3 dead for a moment for Unreal Nightmare. Precision. Moving over towards the plat now, towards the long haul. Just clearing his angles. His teammates nice and comfortable, trying to take some space as well here. Benches towards tower. This is good movement from him, all tied up. Eventually, just you can see Envy step outside the hill. Trying to prioritize that rotation, getting their players in the right positions, then set themselves up for some success in the next hill.
Careful.
Careful now. Very close.
It's always a day one thing.
It is. Sometimes your tongue just likes to betray you.
That's more than a day one thing for me. Every day. 1-1 though, so Envy will even it up, and nice perfect again. You can start to hear, or we can start to hear, the players getting a little bit loud already early on Friday morning here. Because even though pool play, it's a very different experience for different teams. Some teams will look at pool play and say, you know, this is a chance to have a nice little warm-up. We don't really care if we come first or second in the pool particularly. We're confident in it. That's going to be the bigger, the better teams. But for a team like Unreal Nightmare, it would be massive if they could take down Envy here. If they could maybe sneak away with 2nd seed in this pool, it could be huge for their chances of progressing a little bit further in that winner's bracket.
Yeah, the goal for Unreal Nightmare has got to be to perform some kind of heist here in this series. Envy are now just in the ascendancy in terms of map control, numbers on the map as well. So a lot to do for Unreal Nightmare after a very hot start. Now Envy starting to grow in confidence.
It was a 3-2 win to Unreal Nightmare when they played each other in scrims on this one, so it was a very close encounter, and I think we're seeing that happen now. A lot of time has already been chunked away, especially in that 2nd hill, and we are probably going to get to like hill 4-5 where the time is going to come into the equation. So both teams need to be aware of that, need to start planning for that early. trying to get that lead and then thinking, do we try and hold on to this one? Do we start just having a little bit of a slay instead? Both teams will lose one player there.
Precision with camouflage then. Teammate Yakzn in the respawn screen has now just spawned back up, so it's a 4v4 on the map for a moment. Playing this one nice and slow, nice and passive. Waiting to see if his teammates can make some noise elsewhere. He goes in, gets a couple of kills. Perfect camouflage play here from Precision, just opening the door for his team for success. Triple kill now. Looking at Envore, who just about avoids the damage.
Envore said, screw that noise. No overkill for you. Dipped out immediately. Not only that, but also ensures that pipes can at least be controlled, so there's another angle they have to worry about, but Precision, still being by name and nature, hitting those shots, does get a killing spree, eventually gets shut down, and good timing. Envy, last player alive is Descendant, has to win this fight if he wants to win the hill, and he is just going to keep Unreal Nightmare out of it for now.
Prioritizes staying alive here. Knows he's not too comfortable, down to no shields. Fresh spawners could have taken him down, and that would have meant spawns become a real issue, so heads up play. And Envy will get that point in the board, and they will now take the lead.
A huge 1v1. You lose that 1v1, you may lose the hill.
Even a trade would have been pretty bad.
It gives the chance for Unreal Nightmare to potentially take control of it, hold back the spawners, and then maybe even win the point. But now with 2 minutes left, Envy do have the lead, and that's just going to put Unreal Nightmare on the back foot a little bit here. Although off the rip, they have been able to get a little bit of time, but now 3 dead for Unreal Nightmare.
Common last man alive, not for long. He goes down, cleared out. Descendant's got control of the hill once more, over towards Plat now. They have got control of Blue and Tower. So all the ingredients they need to see some success. With Unreal Nightmare spawning over towards Pipes, it's going to be a long commute. Descendant's forced to back away here, so it's been a pretty decent break and a pretty decent disruption from Unreal Nightmare.
Two very different expectations for these teams as well in this tournament. Envy probably looking to try and break into that top 4, whereas Unreal Nightmare, I think they would be happy to get top 8 would be their ideal position or an expectation. Maybe if they went on a crazy run, top 6, but you want to break out of top 16, obviously, and then top 12 is never really a fun position to find yourself in either. But a team that has been dipping in and out, and some of these players have been going down into open bracket at times, I think they'll just be happy to be amongst the pro bracket.
It is interesting, of course, because these teams come in, like Unreal Nightmare comes in as a top 12 seeded team in this tournament, and you know if they finish top 12, they're disappointed. So the ambition is always to do better than is expected, and for Unreal Nightmare, after a pretty decent start, they've been more than competitive in this game. Taking a look at the stats, you can see Breakingshot having a little bit of a slower game, 10, 15, and 18, involved in a lot of gunfights. But Envore, ever the Slayer, 18, 12, and 12. And on the other side of things, look at Precision, 21, 6, and 14.
Oh, he's lost him. An old Dipsy Noodle. This little Piggy went to Blue. And he didn't get any roast beef, so Piggy does get the trade. And only 48 seconds left, so now Envy have the consideration. Do we start to just hold off from this hill a little bit? There's enough time on the ball that I think they could play that way.
I'm trying to... Piggy and roast beef, I'm just wondering.
Are you really blanking on that? This little Piggy went to market.
Yeah.
This little Piggy had roast beef.
No,
it's this
little Piggy stayed home.
Yeah, but then what's the line afterwards?
I
This
don't know.
little Piggy had roast beef.
It's not like I've been...
It's just a classic children's nursery rhyme.
Okay.
Lock in.
Why does a Piggy want beef? I'm just...
Well, he wouldn't want bacon.
I'm confused.
All right, 12 seconds left. And Unreal Nightmare have to go. You can see the push starts to get launched.
A little bit of desperation. You can see why Envore is being completely backed up, cannot take space. Precision continues to put down fire. Triple kill from him. Time dwindles away, and Envy will win game 1.
Well, regardless of if it's roast beef, bacon, doesn't matter. All that does matter is it's a 2-1 lead for Envy. They get the first map under their belt, and they can start to look towards map 2. So even though it was a fantastic start from Unreal Nightmare, and a pretty close game, all things considered, when you look at the seeds of these two teams, as we take a quick look at the stats. And Envy certainly were on the back foot to begin with, but then we did see them just slowly get back into the game.
Yep, definitely grew as things did progress, and I think that's perfectly expected from Envy. And for Unreal Nightmare, that's one of those ones where they might think it got away from them. They had a really good start, went 1-0 up, but never really was able to build on that.
All right, well, that's the first game. You know how it works here on the Bravo stream. We're going to go for a quick break, but when we come back, we'll have map 2 ready for you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to this second game. Envy versus Unreal Nightmare. If you're just joining us, very competitive, but very effective Envy in game 1. It was a Strongholds, or King of the Hill recharge, excuse me. Score was 2-1, and the game ended on time. So Unreal Nightmare did make Envy look a little bit uncomfortable at times, but again, Envy are just so effective, Dan.
Yeah, if that first game is anything to go by, then perhaps it could be a close slayer as well, but from the start, I mean, Envy going right into things here. Really taking it to Unreal Nightmare. I think that's maybe something they learned from the last game as well, is, you know, let's not let Unreal Nightmare get a little bit of a lead here. Let's not start slow. And sometimes you do need just a little bit of aggression, and starting strategies are going to be everything as well, and a lot of these teams will have them well drilled. And also these two teams have played each other in scrims, as I mentioned, so they will know somewhat of a starting strategy. So that's where you need to have some sort of backup strategy as well. And then do you try and bluff? Starting strats have always been a very strange thing, I think, in Halo, because it's one of the most practiced things you go through, and then after that you're like, oh crap, what do we do now? How do we set up?
You run the open and drill,
Yep.
and after that it's just everybody make it up as we go along.
Especially with new teams, you'll notice new teams that have just been formed will have incredible starts, because that's the first thing they go over is the starting strat. But then into the mid game, they'll just start to form.
Everyone after the opening strats, everyone looks at each other. But what now?
Yeah.
Though?
As soon as you lose control of the map,
Yeah.
you're like, well, how do we get it back?
You all
And that's
start
one of the
running
things
around like headless chickens.
It's hard to practice,
Yeah.
because if you've not been a team, you've not been put in that position for enough times, then you are just going to get run over by the more confident teams.
Now, often do we see in Slayers, particularly the lower seeded teams, starting off hot. A team like Envy giving themselves a little bit too much to do by going down by a sizable chunk early. But right now, after a pretty good start from Envy, it's Unreal Nightmare now, getting themselves right back into this game. Some of the work Cearion and Envore have done, 5-4-4, 5-3-2. So Envore continuing in the same vein he was in game 1, putting in a lot of slays, a lot of damage. And right now, it's Unreal Nightmare in the ascendancy.
When you look at this Unreal Nightmare roster, though, you do just see Slayers being good for them. Some very impressive individually skilled, great gun skill as well. I mean, Envy have just gone 4 down, 21-13, just like that. You blink and you would have missed it. That 7 kills just went in favor of Unreal Nightmare. But now this is where you need to try and show a little bit of experience. You say, all right, well, we've got 2 decisions to make here. Do we actually try and continue this aggression, continue to pinch, and try and increase this lead to like 10 to 15 kills? Or do we sit back and see what Envy have in terms of trying to escape here? And it looks like it's going to be the former, mainly because you got the camouflage, so it almost makes that decision for you.
Yeah, you have to capitalize on those advantages that you've already worked for, and the camouflage is definitely one of those. And Common currently on a killing spree, adds another one, so that's 6 without reply. He's not been shut down just yet. Envy send a couple of resources his way to take him finally out of the equation. So, score now 25-17. This is much better for Unreal Nightmare, as they're over towards the car side. Shots going down. You can see Cearion now with his teammate pushing towards the base. Envy are aware of it, and they're wise to it, putting down damage and a couple of kills. And the kill feed go in favor of Envy. So now all of a sudden it's a 6-kill difference. And Unreal Nightmare just starting to slow things down. You don't want to start throwing away lives frivolously here.
I do think back to some of the players on this Unreal Nightmare roster, and you think about what they've achieved in the HCS, and you think about, you know, Envore taking on the entire European continent at times, and a lot of that came down to Game 5 Slayers, and it did go in favor of him and his rosters, so it's not like they're unexperienced. We knew that this team can certainly put up a fight against Envy, but I think the expectations for Envy is always going to be a little bit higher after some of the results they've been getting online and at the LBT LAN as well. So yeah, it's a tough one because it does change tournament to tournament, and online to LAN is obviously a huge difference as well. Not just connection-wise, but just mentally, where you're playing, where you're comfortable. And I think if you are a team like Unreal Nightmare, you want to take the comfort out of Envy's game here. Even if that is just like yelling over the monitors a couple of times, just let them know that you know you want this. Just try and take away some of their confidence.
I think confidence is a big thing as well for players like Envore. When he was winning series in those game 5s, he's no stranger to a scrap. He loves the war, loves thriving in the chaos, and He's a real player that when he has some confidence and some momentum, he can be a hard player to shut down.
And whilst we don't have listen-ins on the Bravo stream, you can imagine that Unreal Nightmare are very loud. They're going to be yelling a lot, whereas on the flip side, Envy are a bit more calm with their comms, especially in pool play. But you want to push Envy. You want to make sure that they actually think this is going to be a real game. It's not just going to be a pushover game. This is second versus third in the end in this pool. Envy are technically going to have a harder game. But if Unreal Nightmare can suddenly take a couple of games off them, that might just have Envy questioning, are we good enough to break into the top 4?
And it's interesting as well because when you look at these two teams, the expectation is that Envy will win the series. And for Unreal Nightmare, you're almost playing with house money. Nobody expects you to win this series, so you almost play with a little bit of freedom. And when you start to put Envy under the cosh, do they start to freeze up and say, hang on a second, do they get a bit nervy? Do issues start to arise because of that? Do they start to play a little bit differently when things go against them?
I think what's really exciting about this event and going into Worlds as well is that seeds 5 through 12, which is evident here as this is 5th seed versus 12th seed, is all pretty close.
Yeah.
The gap isn't as big, in my opinion, in 5 through 12 as it once was. Once you get into the top 3, I think it's different, and Space Station for me, I'm still unsure on. I don't know what Space Station we're going to see here at this tournament. And they're in this group. Space Station will play both of these teams today.
1 kill game now, as Dan and I have been waffling. So the end game well and truly upon us. This one's much bigger for Unreal Nightmare than it is for Envy, because you always want the lower seeded team to win the Slayer just to push us at least at minimum 1 game further. They're trading out pretty decently here. Common's gone down, as has Piggy though. So now it's up to Envy. Can they solve this puzzle? Can they break a setup? Can they get some kills without giving away some deaths?
This is a must-win for Unreal Nightmare. You go 2-0 down here, this series is going to be close to impossible, I'd say, with how Envy usually shut things out. 48-48 though. And Unreal Nightmare need to be careful. They're dropping down, they're getting aggressive. It's 49-49.
Yakzn trying to back away. 2 players over towards car 1. Precision needs some help. Breakingshot might have stepped out just a touch too far, but thought the better of it. Send it down to no shields and will fall, but it was traded out in the end, and it's Envy who actually get a very slender 1 kill win. 50-49, and Envy will come out victorious and 1 game away from closing out the series.
That is heartbreak for Unreal Nightmare, and they'll know it. At one point they were 8-9 kills up in that game, but again, Envy showing their experience, showing why they are the 5th seed in this tournament. And for Unreal Nightmare now, going to have to dig very deep. Trying to reverse sweep this is not going to be easy, especially with Lattice Ball coming up, which is something that Envy did beat Unreal Nightmare on in scrims. Anyway, we'll have to see what does happen in Map 3, but before then, you know what happens. We're going to go for a quick break. We'll see you then.
It's the Halo Championship Series, hosted by FaZe. This LAN is in lovely Charlotte, and Envy currently up 2-0 against Unreal Nightmare. It was a very competitive game 1 and 2, but unfortunately it was Envy who have iced up to this point. And then typically we would say the lower seeded team, as I say that, DSCENDANT ripping a face. Typically the lower seeded team, the Slayer is where you look at in the series where you can get yourself in and amongst it, cause some ruckus. But as a matter of fact, with Lattice being one of the latest entries to the Halo Championship Series, everybody's learning. Everybody's adapting at the same time, but one player not learning and adapting right now is DSCENDANT, because he doesn't need to. He is the apex predator right now with that sniper rifle.
Yeah, when you get a new map added to the competition, it's a level playing field. Everyone gets to start at the same ground, so newer teams have a better chance in theory. And whilst these teams have scrimmed on this map on different game modes, not just Oddball, Unreal Nightmare were better at some, but Oddball did go in favor of Envy. However, it was a very close one. It was 231 to 227, so it was 2-1 to Envy, but super close rounds every single time. And I think that follows what we've seen so far in maps 1 and 2. These two teams are not that far apart considering the seed they find themselves in, but there is a very high chance Unreal Nightmare find themselves losing this series 3-0 and everyone else just sees 3-0.
Yeah.
And they don't really understand that it was 2-1, 50-49, and then who knows what this one is.
Yeah, you'll look at the score and it doesn't really paint the full picture. It'll look comfortable when you look at the black and whites. The issue is Unreal Nightmare have been very good. Maybe frustratingly find themselves down by 2 here. With 60 seconds of almost unanswered ball time. Descendant, by the way, still yet to register a death. Prioritizing trying to stay alive will finally go down.
Probably good.
He needed to die, because if there was an opportunity for a perfection, he starts to play a lot differently.
Sometimes can be a hindrance if you've been alive too long. You don't really want to be looking at those numbers. In my opinion, if you're a pro player, you don't want to be looking at numbers at all. It doesn't help, it's not healthy. The amount of times I see people holding the back button, I was very guilty of it when I played, I still am. But you're like, oh, I've only got 2 kills and everyone else has got 8. I mean, oh, okay, maybe I should be a bit more aggressive. And it's just like, just focus on your game, play it how you always play it. Kills will come naturally. But this has been good control early on from Envy. You may not have played this map yet. You may not have been able to see this map as much yet, but it is the latest map added to the HCS, and it does play very nicely, particularly for Oddball, in my opinion. When it comes to where those spawns are and different angles you can take, and where you can hold that ball as well, which creates quite a fun dynamic. But Unreal Nightmare, maybe not so fun for them at the moment. They're really struggling to get a hold of this ball.
They have finally got their hands on the ball. And thankfully for them, they did put a little stoppage into the NB dominance. But unfortunately for them, we're seeing Descendant with the sniper rifle again. Can he line up a couple more shots after that hot start? Really sitting at 7-2-2 and precision 12-1-7. So he's well and truly been amongst it. You look at the discrepancy in deaths. You can see Precision's trying to play this game pretty fast, and Descendant's sort of playing from the back line here with the sniper rifle, trying to catch some people on some rotations. Not connected with that shot, but he has connected with some more in the past, and Breakingshot on the chase will get taken down. Envore could be about to join him. Cearion will fall down. And in the end, Descendant didn't even need to get the kill as his teammate was on hand. Power up about to spawn up as well, so you can see them starting to rotate and play for that. Ball will stay down. Nobody scoring at the moment.
Very confident with the sniper is Descendant. As you can see yet again, ripping another shot. Not quite a face, just a body, but it's all it needed.
Call them shins. Shins are good enough sometimes. Right in the bread basket.
Pads, you might get punished, but if I'm Envy, I'm going to be shouting at Piggy saying get some more ball time. And that was when it was working. Pick up the ball, Pig.
Now, play starts to dictate down towards ice then. Shots going down. Nobody picking up this quantum translocator, and because everyone's prioritizing just trying to get some semblance of control. And it's Unreal Nightmare now just starting to chip away at that lead, Dan.
How hard do you really want to fight for a QT? That's what I want to know. Like, if that was an overshield, then suddenly it changes the whole dynamic of the map, but also if it wasn't overshield, it might make things a little bit too snowbally, so I understand why it is a quantum translocator, but whilst it can help, it's more like a reward for your control of the map rather than something you need to be fighting for.
Yeah, I think it's a nice to have, but not a necessity.
Yeah. If the other team starts throwing bodies at a QT, you're laughing.
Yakzn quite comfortable back here, holding the ball. We'll drop it for a moment just to throw down a nade, trying to deny some space and do some damage on anybody starting to poke forward. Trying to just milk his life as long as he can, settles for a trade, 4 dead for Envy, and now Unreal Nightmare can get their hands on the ball and again start to eat away at that lead. 21 seconds for Envy required to close out round number 1.
And if Unreal Nightmare are smart, they really want to focus this sniper rifle as well. Do not allow Envy to get control of it again, because Descendant was just gobbling them up before. But now Envy have been able to get 2 kills. The focus is going to be about stopping the ball going in the hands of Envy, so that sniper rifle might just be wide open. And Piggy's got his hands on the ball again. But Breakingshot has been able to ensure that he gets a double kill. Where's the sniper though? There it is!
Comms from Breakingshot will be, lads, I found the sniper rifle, don't worry about it. I found him.
I think Descendant literally said, screw the ball, let me have the sniper yet again because it's winning us the game.
And if not, it's just fun. It's fun to use, fun to watch. We thank him for it. 17-4-6, having a heavy influence in this round 1. Finds another body shot. Breakingshot just doesn't clear his angles, doesn't clear his corners. And you know why, because he's desperately trying to get to that ball to get the stop, and all these kills just falling onto Descendant's lap. Envore will slide forward, body shot connects, and another kill for Descendant. And Envy will close out round 1. And just 1 round away from a clean sweep.
And whilst everyone did play their part, that was the Descendant show. Without a lot of those sniper rifle kills, there wouldn't have been that much ball time, wouldn't have been that much control, and that is the difference maker, and especially on this map. If you can get control of that sniper, and again, that's why I think I needed to see Unreal Nightmare focus the snipe, but because they were already behind by like 30, 40, and Envy were teetering towards that 100 mark, they were reluctant to leave the ball, and I can understand it. It's a very difficult thing to try and build around. But it is a better start here in round 2. Unreal Nightmare will be the ones who get the lead, but that sniper rifle's still up, and I'm sure Descendant is going to be sniffing it out when he comes off spawn.
And there's something that Envy done very well, and particularly Descendant, is that he baited his teammates perfectly while he had the sniper rifle. And sometimes there's a negative stigma attached around the word bait, but when you do it properly, when you do it correctly, you just play off your team. You use the ball as bait and your teammates, and you let the kills just walk past you. You start hitting those faces, and you immediately cut down the numbers of Unreal Nightmare. And so that was heads-up play from Descendant, because it's one thing to give yourself the opportunity and give yourself the angles, but to actually hit the shots is another thing entirely.
Well, that's what's more impressive about that round, though, from Descendant, is that it wasn't just him hitting sniper rifle shots and people not looking at him. He was also hitting the no-scopes. He was also confident in taking those fights. And sure, there's an element of luck to it when you're just firing 3 no-scopes off, but you've also got to be confident enough to be taking the fight in that way. There would have been a lot of people who would take that first shot, whip out their secondary and say, all right, I'm just going to take the fight here because I'm more confident I'm going to get the kill. But he knows he can hit those shots.
And if Unreal Nightmare don't know he can hit those shots by now, well then they'll never be learned, let me tell you. All 4 dead once again. And it's Envy in firm control of this round 2.
Yeah, so this one is a lot more one-sided than it was when they did play each other in scrims. It seems like Envy have put in some real time. And again, that sniper rifle has just been a huge difference, especially in round 1. QT's going to be coming up shortly. And Breakingshot has found Yakzn. So it's not over yet for Unreal Nightmare, but the writing is certainly on the wall here.
Writing, backs, both on the wall in equal measure.
Oh!
An overkill just off to the side from Breakingshot. We haven't picked it up, but let me tell you, it did happen. We have confirmation in the feed that Breakingshot has hit an overkill. And that's going to just put a little stop to the dominance that Envy were feeling. We've seen this in round 1, though. Unreal Nightmare in that mid-round started to put something together, started to piece it together. And very much the tale of the series so far, Dan, is they look good, they look competitive, they put themselves in good opportunities and good situations, but unable to capitalize on them and unable to put those advantages into points and maps on the board.
I think Unreal Nightmare will be desperate to play some of the other teams that are around the kind of top 12 seed here in this tournament. Like, the other 3rd places in these pools, I'd be quite scared to go up against Unreal Nightmare in the way they're playing at the moment. Not all of them, but
is that something that you can say for every team? Is that they would? I can't wait to play anybody in the top 12.
I mean,
nobody's saying, give me Shopify Rebellion right now.
Well, I mean the teams in like 9th through 12th.
Yeah, I know.
But there are some teams you probably do want to play. If they're like, you're like, ah, yeah, we dump on them every single event. We're happy to go up against them. But I think Unreal Nightmare do look good, and even with their matchup against Space Station that's going to be coming up later today, I think Unreal Nightmare will feel fairly confident after this start, even if it does end up as a 0-3. I think they've been impressive.
Yeah, agreed. I've seen enough here to take some confidence from this series. And we're not quite writing them off just yet. Only a 20-second lead for Envy, but they do have their hands on the ball and they do have control of the map right now.
I'm starting to write them off.
Dan is quite literally taking out a pen and doing some scribbling, so if he has any power over the outcome of this game, he has now written Unreal Nightmare completely off. Double kill then for Piggy. Kills elsewhere. Common gets one on the precision. The wiggles, and Piggy gets a killing spree. Shuts down Common. Maybe even you'd be forgiven for a little shake of the head after that as well. Tosses the ball forward. You can see Piggy wants to get his hands on the ball. Perhaps listening to you, Dan, but I say that and Descendant again with the sniper rifle. Can they shut this man down?
Yes, thankfully. But is it too late? 15 seconds now required for Envy to close out this game, close out this series 3-0, but Unreal Nightmare are having a late fight back here. They're doing well, Unreal Nightmare, to not be full sending it towards the ball, and they are just trying to find kills. They are trying to get a little bit of map control here. And they do have time. 3 minutes still left. There is no rush. As long as you don't allow Envy to be ticking away at seconds, you just need to be thinking about gaining control and winning these engagements.
I've made an observation.
Go on then.
You called upon Piggy to pick up the ball after round 1 when they've seen such success. He had 60 seconds at the time. Do you think you get to a point where you're like, lads, I've held the ball for 60 seconds. I want to play the game now?
I think so. I've done enough. It's someone else's time. But speaking of time, only 10 seconds now required here for Envy.
Closing in on a 3-0 sweep. Unreal Nightmare just haven't had enough to really cause any kind of concern for Envy in the end. Competitive, they landed some blows, but never really put Envy on the mat. And because of that, as a result, the clean sweep is now locked in.
And as we've alluded to, I don't think that the 3-0 scoreline will truly paint the picture of how close that series was at times. Sure, the last game, pretty one-sided, but maps 1 and 2 were extremely close. A 2-1 and a 50-49. Unreal Nightmare should walk away from this a little bit encouraged, but also, of course, disappointed with how close some of the games were. But maybe, just maybe, they can pull off something against Space Station Gaming. Well, Envy, however, their match against Space Station will be a very interesting one indeed to see maybe if Envy can try and take first seed from this pool. Remember, that will be 4th seed versus 5th seed. Anyway, that is this series done here on the Bravo stream. We are going to go for a break, but when we come back, we'll have a brand new series for you guys. We'll see you shortly.